Oh my God, it's freaking real. It's a real company that offers animal cloning and DNA services.
Maybe we should do this.
Should we just
Give it a try.
I'm in a real, emotional quandary here. So here we are saying you should not breed your dogs because there's this overpopulation.
How do you feel about cloning?
Overpopulation issue with...
Oh my dog. Dog. Oh my dog.
Oh my dog, hey.
Oh my dog, hello. Oh my God.
Today on our toy episode, which is just a little bitty bit of something about dogs, we are going to talk about a little bitty dog.
Chihuahuas.
Yes, so here and there, everywhere, we're going to start focusing on just individual breeds of dogs because Holly and I are doing this because we're dog obsessed, and I really love breed ID, and so learning more about each dog breed is lots of fun to us, and hopefully to you as well. We both have Chihuahuas.
Yes. Chihuahua is one of those words that took me a really long time to spell correctly consistently.
One time somebody said it's Chihuahua, and I was like, oh. So I do chich, and then ua, hua, and now I can do it.
I rely on
CHIHUA, HUA. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like Mississippi.
So Chihuahuas are considered the smallest breed in the world. They are thought to have originated in China, but they are named after the Mexico state of Chihuahua, where they
originated in China. My world, there's a lie. What do you mean?
That's what it said.
I hate it.
They first became prominent in the 1890s.
So sorry, I cut that off. They're named after the Mexico state of Chihuahua.
Right.
But why?
Which I wonder if how do you pronounce Chihuahua?
Chihuahua.
Or you know how
Chihuahua.
We say things and they say it differently. Like
Yeah.
they say it the right way
Yeah,
because obviously it's their language, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, so Chihuahuas are kind of a long-tailed that pun not intended. They can live, 14 to 16 years. So they're in it for the long
more.
haul.
16, I think, is still life left in a Chihuahua.
Okay, so when I got Sharky, who is my Chihuahua, which you named, because you had Sharky first.
Yeah, and he bit us all.
And
he was painful, though. He was in pain.
This was in December of 2018, and I had taken Stanley, which was kind of like a rush job. I was supposed to get Sharky. He wasn't named Sharky when he came in.
Yeah.
I was supposed to get him, and then we swapped because he was coming later, and I took Stan right away. So anyway, whatever. And then I had adopted out Murphy, and Sharky had bit you and Marcus, and then he bit Cam in the face.
Cam in the face.
And you were like,
he got to go.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, tag me in. I'm ready. I just adopted Murphy out.
I don't like my face anyway. Bring
next
him
day.
over.
And that little he did bite me.
He bit your nose.
Bit me on my lip right here. I still have the scar. Actually, you can see it if I wax. No, I'm just
it's underneath the cactus. It's hell getting old.
Oh man, it really is. It's getting out of control. Like
I had to have.
I now have tweezers in my car.
Yeah, you had to have
tweezers.
a car tweezers because the only way you can see your chin hairs is in the car. There's no other light. It's got to be regular light. You got to be in a parking lot. You got to do the left look, the right look, and then you pull down the mirror and you check. And shoot, every time there's one wiry hair coming right out your chin.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one that experiences this, but you're absolutely right. I don't know how we got here.
You got bit by Sharky right in your hairy lip.
Yes, I did get bit by Sharky, and but he had a botched neuter. Do you remember that?
Yes.
He had gone out to someplace in West Des Moines. This was before we were hooked up with University West.
Yeah.
Or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they botched his neuter, and so he was in a lot of pain, and it was a pain response. That's what was going on, which we finally figured out.
And also, he
bit all of us.
Oh yeah, he was in a lot of pain, and then he has a few other things going on because he has kind of a jacked up leg.
It was broke they
Like in a weird.
they say, yeah, it's like his
It, like,
it's like his
bends.
forearm is
Yeah.
broke, and so he kind of walks weird.
Yeah.
It looks very painful, and he just recently has kind of been favoring it more and more. I mean, he's always favored it, but
Yeah.
more so lately. And
Well, he's getting older.
so that's what I was getting
How
at.
old is he?
When he came in, he came from a from Winnebago shelter in Illinois, which was a shelter that we pulled a
Oh.
lot of dogs from
We did used to.
when
Yeah.
we were with Fluffy Butts.
Yeah.
And in fact, Jack, my mom's terror, Wolverine of a dog, came from there as well. And they had projected him at 10 years old, and that was in 2018. So which we don't know if that was right or not.
I think he
mean, it
just
could be
looks
way
more
off.
rickety than he did.
Could have been, but if it were true, then he would be 16 now.
He could be 16.
Which he could be. He's very white in the face now. If you compare
has
pictures,
aged.
he's definitely aged, but he's probably getting, he's not on death watch by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not
up there.
I'm positive he'll see Christmas, but I don't know if he'll see next Christmas. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
But he loves to be loved. He loves to lay on my chest in the morning and rub his face all over my face, and he hasn't bit me in
Since he lost his
couple
balls.
months anyway.
Oh, more recent.
He can get a little snappy sometimes, but
He ain't got much for teeth anymore.
no.
No.
His tongue hangs out sometimes because he did lose a few teeth, but he's getting up there.
Yeah.
Size and weight: 6 to 9 inches tall, 4 to 7 pounds. Sharky's like 6.
Yeah. Mine
Oh.
are all kind of that range, except for Chicken Little, who has some sort of glandular problem, I'm sure of it.
Thyroid issue.
I don't know, he's a potato. But mine are all little like that as well.
Yeah.
And they come in short and long hair, which apparently not a lot of people know, because if I bring, Cam has a little long-haired Chihuahua, Momo, who barks violently at anyone who comes into our house, but he's a lover boy to us.
That's one that loves me, right?
That's Indigo.
Indigo loves me.
Momo doesn't like anybody but me and Cam, really. But I will take him to Paws and Pints because he actually likes kind of strutting around that place and then saying, like, looking at people, and people will be like, oh my gosh, he's so cute, because he's like 4 pounds and he's fluffy and adorable, but people will go, he's so cute, and he's only got like 3 teeth also, so then he'll bite them with his gums, and then it's a funny thing. Like, I like to watch it happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Sharky does that to me every time I come home. Everybody's all excited, and he doesn't bite you. He's just like gums you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a crunch. It's just
No,
like a
there's
like
no
a love
PSI.
bite. Like a yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but no. Anyway, people will always ask, what is he? Is he a Pomeranian or a Papillon or whatever? And oddly enough, in his older age, because he's about 12 now, yeah, because we got him when Cam was little, so yeah, about 12 years old now. He's getting more and more fluffy, which is weird. Usually they get thinner hair, but his hair has like doubled in thickness since we got him, 12 years ago. But yeah, nobody knows he's a Chihuahua. I'm like, what do you mean? He's a
Little
Chihuahua.
football.
Like, what kind of question is that? But apparently the long hair is not as commonly seen.
So to identify a Chihuahua, long or short hair, they've got small little dainty feet. Of course, a small dog, small feet, right? The apple-shaped heads, which Momo and Indigo both.
Yeah.
Apple heads.
Yeah.
Sharky, apple head. Big round eyes, bat-like ears. If they're short haired, it's a smooth, glossy coat. And you'll never see a Chihuahua that's a dapple or a merle in color. So they're usually like one color.
Yeah. They've got the ones with the points. So if you've ever seen the Chihuahuas with, like Indigo, actually, he is a dilute tricolor. So he's considered like a blue color. And he has, kind of like the little markings, like what like a Rottweiler would have, you know what I mean? But like that smaller. But if you do see a merle, it's because there's been some backbreeding or like crossbreeding happening to like make that happen with a Chihuahua, but it's not common. I have seen some though that are like just like all white, or they'll have like a brown spot or something. So there's quite a few different colors. And then, but one thing, I'm in like these groups, like Chihuahua lovers, which I had to leave because the people were even crazier than I am, on
That's saying
Facebook.
something.
I know, but they would post their dog, and then they would say, "What kind of Chihuahua is this?" And they were asking like, "Is it an apple-headed Chihuahua or a deer-headed Chihuahua?" And they're all the same dog, like it's all the same breed of dog, but some of them just have like a more narrow head and snout.
Yeah, like Tater is a 100% long-haired Chihuahua. They did the DNA test on her, and that tracks because we got
her from a breeder. Yeah,
she came from a breeder, so that tracks. But she looks like a baby fawn. She looks like a little deer.
Yeah.
So,
but it's not necessarily like you can't go to the Chihuahua store and be like, I wanna, like you could,
right.
But there's no difference in the breed of dog. It's the same. It's just a different like look to them, I guess, if you will. But that always drives me crazy. Or when people say, I want to get a teacup Chihuahua. Cool. Like what? I don't know what that means. Like an extra small,
like smaller than 4 pounds.
Like that's not very
healthy.
safe or healthy. But okay. No. Like I hate that. I hate those like fake breeds that are made up by like these crappy breeders. They're like, oh yeah, we teach teacup Chihuahuas for $3,000.
So what are your grooming needs for the longer hair Chihuahuas? Because like Sharky doesn't require jack.
So
like nail trim and that's it.
Our dearest Bree at Clipper Doodle Doo would tell everyone that I am doing it wrong because my dogs have never had a haircut. But because she's like, just let me cut their hair, just let me shape them up. And I know lots of people that have long-haired Chihuahuas that do get them shaped up and groomed or whatever, but it will never grow to the floor. Like it's going to stop at a certain length, and it is a double coat.
It's a plant that knows its pot.
Yes, exactly. I like that. Yeah, so, but they have kind of a double coat. So Indigo, if I don't brush him, not often, but like intermittently at least, he will kind of start to get a little tangly in his like lower coat. So if you brush him out, like especially this time of year and then again in the spring, you'll get a whole nother Chihuahua out of him. Like they do produce a lot of hair, but in between they really don't shed a whole lot. So, but a good brushing and then cleaning up, their sanitary areas. They have those long skirts in the back where the hair kind of goes longer, and we do kind of trim around there a little bit.
Feet and fanny.
Yeah.
Get the Grinch feet
But
going.
they've never had a real groom, either one of them, and they're both adorable.
So as far as grooming needs go, pretty low.
Yeah.
Pretty low need.
Yeah.
So Chihuahuas are pretty intelligent. I read that they can be easily trained. I don't know if I agree with that or not, but I'm not much of a trainer either. I just don't see Sharky going for anything. He doesn't have really high drive on anything, so.
Well, here's the deal. All of my dogs know, even my pugs know how to like sit when you tell them sit.
Mm-hmm. Chihuahuas ain't doing it.
No.
They're pretty
they don't
strong-minded.
Care. So there is a show in Las Vegas called Piff the Magic Dragon. And it is this man who wears a dragon costume, and he's got a little long-haired Chihuahua. You can get tickets right now, starting at $45. It's in the Flamingo.
What's it, America's Got Talent, or what? He won one of the TV shows.
I don't know. He's been there forever, and
he's funny.
He has a residency in
Yes,
Vegas.
He has a residency in Vegas.
He's hilarious.
I've never seen it, but so I like to stay at the Flamingo because it's cheap and it's right in the middle of everything, and the rooms are decent, And I found out that I can take my dog, but they have Piff the Magic Dragon there. I'm pretty sure it's in the Flamingo. Yeah, Flamingo showroom.
Well, we should just fly on out there.
I think we need. I want to go see it before Piff's off.
Yeah, what happens?
But I
wonder what kind of insurance he has on that dog. I mean, really.
Well, he has to be training a backup, right? He's got a Piff too.
True. Yeah. Well, that's true. I also read that they are delightful companions.
Well,
Sharky is a really good. I mean, he's a good boy, and I love him.
Well, Indigo.
I don't know if I would call him delightful, but
I think Indigo is delightful. He has served as a therapy dog. There was someone called me once and said, "Hey, I know this woman who has lost her husband to cancer. She's got Lou Gehrig's, and so she has some mobility issues. Her dog passed away, but because of her health issues, she didn't want to get another dog, but she's been lonely or whatever. And so do you know anybody that has like a therapy dog to go visit? And I was like, no. I'm like, but I can take like a dog over there, I guess. You know? So right on, somebody donated like a what does it say? I think it says service dog on the vest. And I was like, okay, well, Indigo, you can try out this little tiny service dog vest. I mean, it's itsy bitsy, you know. I'm like, so I put on this service dog vest. I fluffed him up, brushed him out, and we went to go see this lady. And I shit you not, he just rose to the occasion. He jumped up on her couch, sat there. She petted him for like an hour and a half. I helped her build some things, like she got a new walker. I helped her build the walker, helped her with some stuff around the house. And she just sat there and petted Indigo, and Indigo just looked at her like, I am here.
I cannot.
I didn't even bring any dog dander with me today. I came straight from work. But anyhow, he's like marking the places he's going to have to break out the sneeze. If I ever get this video edited, there will be sneezes in it.
Sorry.
You know what? I think there must be a piff too, because look at this picture of him. That piff looks different. I think he's doubling up. Yeah, that's definitely a different piff. He has Mr. Piffles.
Hey Siri, how much are tickets to Vegas from Des Moines leaving tonight?
We need to go see Piff the Magic Dragon. We'll be back in the morning.
Oh Jesus. Thank you, Siri.
Anyway,
She
but yeah,
hates
he did
me.
great, and I think he could be like, and we went a few times to see her, and every time, and then she told everybody about it in the complex. It was like a senior living thing, so then everybody would line up and be ready for, and they're like, is Indigo coming today? And then I had to come help her with something else, and I didn't bring him because I needed to like
Get in and
get
out.
in there and out, and I like didn't have time for a visit.
You broke all these old
Oh,
people's
they
hearts.
were so upset. They're like, the dog didn't come today? What's going on? Like, I don't know. She hasn't asked me back.
Tell
So I
them
think
they
maybe
died?
they're No. Lord. I'll just bring his stuffed body there someday, and they can just keep him.
Speaking of, they are highly adaptable, so they really don't care where they're at or if you move or anything like that.
Big
they
yard,
are going to give a
apartment.
shit if you bring a small child into your home.
Yeah, they're not big fans of little kids.
They really
typically.
are. Same.
Yeah, same. Except for Indigo, but he's not normal, I guess.
They do have higher potential for heart murmurs, heart disease, patellar which is the
Every single one of my Chihuahuas have
knockers.
had their knees have patellar luxation.
Yeah. So just be aware of that. You know, small little dog. So
the heart thing is what is difficult for me, and why I don't know if I will have another one because after this, because my love of my life dog before Mr. Bojangles was my little Sloth, and she was a little tiny Chihuahua with 3 toes, which is why her name was Sloth. She was like a genetic defect, and she was small and adorable. But she essentially just had a heart attack and died. And
on your birthday.
On my birthday,
Yeah.
which is awful. But we got several family members of hers, and all of those dogs have passed away of the same thing. And Indigo is a relation of them, and so I'm like living in fear that that's going to happen to him someday, because she was too young to die that way, you know. So that was tough.
You know, we talk about that a lot. What's better if, you just come home and they're gone, or you wake up and they've died in their sleep, or do you see them out, or, doing the whole thing? It's like...
it's hard. I mean,
it all
I've had
sucks,
both. I
but-
mean, I had, one of ours, we knew that he was dying, and we had the time to go take him and get a cheeseburger and do all
Right.
the things and all the stuff. And then I think, for me, the abrupt, death has been worse.
Yeah.
And that's happened now with 2 of my Chihuahuas, not sick at all, gone that day.
Yeah.
And that was,
Yeah.
terrible.
It's really hard.
But I think there's a little bit of both, right? Like, having to mourn for longer before it happens, too, is difficult. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
But-
some famous Chihuahuas that you might know about, of course, the Taco Bell dog.
Which, by the way, I have kind of a funny tale about this. So I can take care of a Crunchwrap Supreme. That is like, like if I want like a really disgusting junk food, Crunchwrap Supreme. Like let's roll.
That's it.
So I was like, one night I had 3 Chihuahuas with me in the car. 2 of them are passed now, but 3 Chihuahuas with me in the car. And they were all sitting on my lap, and they were all lined up in the window. I rolled down the window, and I'm just like, this is great. I'm in the Taco Bell drive-thru. I've got 3 Chihuahuas getting ready to order from the window, and we pull up, and I was like, waiting for her to be like, this is hilarious.
Right.
You brought 3 Chihuahuas to the Taco Bell drive-thru.
Right.
And
Deadpan.
nothing. She
Doesn't get it.
didn't understand. And so then I was like, hey, like, isn't this funny? Like, I'm like, if you're not going to tell me, I'm going to tell you that it's funny. I'm like, I have 3 Chihuahuas in the Taco Bell drive-thru. And she's like, what? And I was like, yo quiero Taco Bell. And she's like, are you
What
okay?
is wrong
Like,
with
what's
this
wrong?
generation?
I think she thought that I was drunk. And I was ordering.
Could have been.
I could have been, but I was ordering a Crunchwrap Supreme completely sober with 3 Chihuahuas in my lap. And the humor was lost on everyone in that store. It really was disappointing.
They really missed an opportunity there.
I thought so. They should take a picture, put it on their social media. Who cares? Whatever.
Oliver and Company, Tito. That's a animated, famous Bruiser.
So the
Legally
reason,
Blonde.
yes, the reason we ever got a Chihuahua was Cam saw the movie. No, I thought it was Legally Blonde, but it wasn't. Now that I'm starting to tell this story, it was Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Oh, yeah.
And we had seen that show, and she decided she wanted a Chihuahua. And I brought her home a one-eyed, really mean little Chihuahua, so it really didn't
Perfect.
do it for her. But yeah, and then Legally Blonde, Bruiser from Legally Blonde.
Arguably most famous would be Tinkerbell, which is Paris Hilton's Chihuahua.
Tinkerbell lived to be 23 years old.
Unbelievable.
Now, mind you, Tinkerbell had all of medicine's possible
Oh, the great
life.
food.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
But anyhow, Tinkerbell did finally die at the age of 23. So then Paris Hilton got another. She had 2 at the time, but then she got another Chihuahua. So she got this Chihuahua, and one of the Chihuahuas ran away, got eaten by a coyote, something.
No.
Yes. But she had previously taken, because of her beloved Tinkerbell that passed at 23, when she got these 2 dogs, or this dog, she had some, what does it say? She had some sort of its DNA or something stored somehow.
Oh, Lord.
So this dog gets lost, is gone. And then I literally watched this episode. So Paris Hilton had a baby, and she did
a real baby?
a real baby,
Like a human baby.
a human baby, and she didn't tell. She's had 2 now. She didn't tell her mother that she was even having the baby because it was by surrogate, the second one.
Okay.
And so then she does this big reveal and shows her mom the actual baby. And her mom loses her ever-loving mind, is bawling, is like, what the hell, why did you do that to me? This is insane, blah, 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 but, in love with the baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Then,
weird.
fast forward to this next clip, which I'll find the video, but she comes out again with a bundle to show her mom, and she goes, oh my gosh, what, not again? She assumes at this point it's going to be another human baby that she had, hidden from her that was going to happen. Oh, no. Missing Chihuahua had been cloned, and there's 2 of them. So now she has cloned puppies.
Is that legal?
To clone? Yes, we're going to dive in here because I went to the website where it's an actual
my
business. You can get your pet cloned.
gosh.
So we're going to dive. But
Stanley forever.
right? So the clone puppies named Diamond and Baby have become a source of fascination, evoking curiosity into the intricate process that led to their creation. Her decision to clone her cherished pet has shown a spotlight on modern technology and the emotional bonds that exist between humans and companions. The concept of dog cloning involves the replication of an existing dog using genetic engineering techniques. So basically they take its DNA and then they, remember Dolly the sheep, another dog has to give birth to this dog.
Right.
And then out comes exactly what you've had.
All right, so how do we feel about this? Because, what's the temperament? Does DNA account for temperament?
Well, here's my concern. So I, if I could have Bojangles for the rest of my life, that would be amazing. But if
would
I
it
got
really
him,
be him,
I
though?
don't think so, because it's nature versus nurture, right? He is who he is because of how he's been raised and all of the life experiences that he's had. So unless I replicate that exactly, am I really able to have him forever? Like,
Right.
I don't know.
Like, tell me this. Like, if you maybe you know, maybe you don't know. I don't know. If you were to clone Bojangles, would the cloned version of him have a love for water like the current version of him does?
Right, because I didn't train that. I mean, he just immediately was like, I'm obsessed and I like this, and decided
Like, if
that.
you cloned me, would the cloned me like pizza as much as I do?
And
or
like
is that like
the Postal
Or is
Service?
that like an emotional? Oh yeah. Or is that like an emotional thing?
I don't know. I mean, I
I don't
suppose
know
they'd have to
either.
be exposed to
We
those
need a
things.
geneticist.
So-
Genetic.
So
genet-
the place that
genetician?
geneticist,
That's what I thought.
says the person who doesn't know how to say ginger ale. So Viagen is the name of this company who cloned her pets. So you'll see this.
How much does it cost?
Well, we'll see if it says. I highly doubt it shares that with us, but I'll post the website itself so we can have this debate. I don't know
only
how.
if they sponsor us.
Right, Viagen. Will you make us a Bojangles and a Stanley, and we'll talk about it. So Georgia is the original genetic donor, and then Kismet is the genetic twin and clone of Georgia, and they are, an old and young version. Like, everything looks.
Okay, but looks are one thing. Personality is a whole
But
other
it's genetic.
situation.
So yeah, it's the whole nature versus nurture thing. So then they've got the fascinating world of dog cloning. Look at Paris Hilton's cloned puppies. And
I act a certain way because of the experiences that I've had in this body.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
like,
yeah, that's
we are who we
I get what
are
you're saying.
at our core, but some of the things that we do are inherent because of who our parents are, right?
So this kind of touches on like a morality issue too, like we talked about in our last episode with Laika, the dog, the
Yeah.
Soviet Union, the dog that went up into space.
Yeah.
Like, just because you can do it doesn't mean you
Should you?
should do it. But what are the downsides of doing it as an animal? I could see downsides from a human existence, but what are the downsides for a dog?
I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about this.
So I'm going to read through some of, just kind of quickly through some of the FAQs that are
Yeah.
on their website. So it says, how long does it take to clone a pet? So you can get feedback regarding your genetic preservation, so they call it GP process, in less than 4 weeks from submitting your sample. And then the cloning...
What is a sample?
Well,
Like,
I'm
do you think
gonna
it's blood
I
sample?
don't know. I'm going to find out here. But it says then the cloning process is literally just gestation. They put it in a dog and pregnant and have the baby.
Like IVF.
Yeah. This says my pet has died unexpectedly. So you have to refrigerate the dog, not freeze it. Your cat's tissue sample immediately after its death is the first critical step. Tissue biopsy samples should be collected from your pet as soon as possible. So you take your pet, like the dog dies, you take your pet to the vet, and they take a tissue biopsy sample. How much do they need? Is it just like in
Refrigerate
Jurassic
overnight.
Park? I could get
Can you imagine getting up in the middle of the night and be like, oh, I'm really thirsty, and you go to the fridge and there's your dead dog.
It's no different than my fridge where I get up in the middle of the night and there's a freaking rat in there because my snake has to eat the next day. It's disgusting.
Oh my god.
Our protocol for this biopsy procedure can be found here. Well, let me just look at that. Oh my gosh, there's an instructional video.
This is wild, man.
So she must have taken a tissue sample from the dog while it was alive before it went
Of
missing.
course,
Yeah,
right.
and then had it. Items
Wow.
required. You literally just send in a sample of its tissue.
So you're gonna have to cut into your dead pet.
But don't freeze it, it says. You can't do it. So the cryogenics thing, thrown out. Can't cryogenics and then come back. So you can order the kit so you're ready.
What do you think about, how babies switch at birth? What?
Oh my gosh. Okay. How do I know that my genetically preserved or cloned pet is authentic? Well, I mean, it'll look like
right.
what do you mean?
Obviously.
You're not going to get a fake.
It's like a mother asking, how do I know if I'm the mother of this baby? Oh, man.
So is there more about the cost? Because I don't feel like, yeah. So how do I preserve the genetics of my pet long term?
the
So if you do a biopsy kit, which your veterinarian will use to collect a tissue sample from your cat or dog, your veterinarian will then send the tissue sample to Viagen Pets. They culture new cells in our lab for your pet's tissue sample, and it allows them to ensure the cells are ultimately usable to clone your pet if you choose to do so. Then they do cryopreserve those cells for growing at a later time if desired. So it's like freezing your eggs. These are our eggs. We have to freeze them. How are we going to... Oh, my gosh.
This is really...
What is the cost? Here we go.
Bizarre.
Oh, my gosh. That can't be true.
How much is it? $1,600?
That's not true because I'll have one of each of all of my pets immediately.
Sign me up.
Can I afford to clone my dog?
You'll have both live ones and stuffed ones all around your house.
Yeah, I'll have one. It dies. I'll be like, this was your...
It'll just have a chunk of it missing out the backside.
Yeah, just a little sliver. What in the lands? This can't be true.
I'm sure the
Am I
taxidermist
on a
can take
fake
care of that.
website right now? Hold on. Let me just make sure that this is real.
It's real. They didn't put this much effort into it. It's
Biogen
something weird.
real.
Oh my Lanta.
Oh my god, it's freaking real. It's a real company that offers animal cloning and DNA services. $1,600?
Maybe we should do this.
Should we just
Give it a try.
I'm in a real, emotional quandary here. So here we are saying you should not breed your dogs because there's this
How do you feel about
overpopulation,
cloning?
overpopulation issue with dogs in the world. We're, killing ourselves to rescue dogs. But yet, $1,600 to clone Stanley and Mr. Bojangles.
people pay more than that for
In vitro,
a whole new dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Could I
So if you are so in love with the dog that you have, and you could
get the same one again?
duplicate version for less than what you would spend for
A
a
new
new
dog?
This is really I would love to know how everybody else feels about this.
I need to hear...
Send
to
me
see...
a letter at P.O. Box 33, Madrid.
Now I have to put your P.O. Box link in every podcast notes. Gosh darn it. Yeah, so the first when I heard about this, and when I saw that clip of Paris Hilton, which is how I found out about all of this, I was on TikToks or something.
Wait a minute, this says initiate cloning. Total cost of dog cloning.
Oh, okay, that makes more
$50,000.
sense. So the kit is $1,600.
Okay, well, yeah, we're not
There
paying
we go.
$50,000.
Yeah, sorry, Jangles. You're gonna
$50,000. Well,
genetic preservation.
that solves that quandary.
So in order to have your dog's tissue on
you just
file,
got a whole lot of people's hopes up
sorry.
for 3 minutes straight.
myself included. So the genetic preservation kit, in order to have your dog's or cat's DNA stored to have the possibility of cloning it, is $1,600. Then, if you do want to actually have it cloned, it's $50,000.
That's what it says.
Okay, that makes more sense. I thought it was going to be something closer to that. $1,600 did not feel right.
You think?
That's why I was Googling to see if this was real. My gosh.
Wow. 50 grand.
I mean,
holy crap.
Okay, so if you had, so here's the question
this is
for
like
the world.
If you win the Powerball,
yeah.
what would you do with it? Well, I would clone my dog. It's only $50,000.
Yeah, no problem. Chump change at that point.
Right.
That's nothing. Yeah, okay. So there's the real question. Is that morally okay? I think in the world of rescue, for us to say that it's cool for everyone to save up their change and clone their dog for $50,000 based on the number of dogs that we could rescue, save their lives for $50,000, that's probably not very reasonable of us to say. But the heart
that's a bit counterintuitive.
But our hearts and our dog loving, and
I would get it. I don't think I would.
I wouldn't fault somebody if they had the spare change for doing it.
I would not feel the same way about somebody that clones their dog as somebody that buys a dog from a shitty breeder. That's for
Amen.
Sure. That's for sure.
Yeah. So there's that. Oh my Lord.
Do pets that are cloned have normal lifespans? Yes, they have lives of normal lengths. This has been demonstrated across many. So they're going to live the same
The same amount of time.
They're just like any other thing.
Wow. There we go. Yeah. Dog cloning, 50,000. Cat cloning, 50,000.
They don't have any special veterinary care needed. Wow. Very interesting.
Well, this is like a whole nother thing. And I know that this is a big moral thing, but I'm just thinking about like, we haven't done this. No one's cloned a human because of the moral dilemma of it. Like, if we can clone a dog, we can clone a human, right? I don't want to clone a human, but if you could.
You don't think we have?
Well, I mean, you would think they would have tried.
Oh, I think it's definitely been done.
Oh my
We
gosh.
just don't know about it. But I'm a complete conspiracy theorist, so
I try to stay off that
I'm
end
up
of the
with
internet.
all of them.
Well, we're going to start our own conspiracy theory. So anyway, I hope no one stopped listening when I said it was only $1,600 to clone your dog.
Yeah,
so that
they've
you could
all
hear the
signed
truth.
up. They're like,
I'm going to like take my money.
They're at an ATM right now.
Let me
in cash.
ViagenPets.com, but ViagenPets.co is $1,600. That's it. So you get the Walmart version of your dog. It may be missing a limb, but
The Temu version.
the Temu version for $1,600.
The Wish version.
But all of that to say that someone who can afford to do such things has has gotten 2 clones of her dog because she loved it so much, and that dog was a Chihuahua. And I can get it. I can understand that. A dog that can have that like super bond with a human. I don't think that it's unmatched when it comes to a Chihuahua. They really do imprint on their one human. And the other really interesting thing about Chihuahuas,
I just don't think it's the same dog, though. Regardless,
no, I don't either.
It's a completely different
When I
dog.
first heard
Just because
about
it
this-
looks the same and it's genetically the same, it's still a different dog.
exactly, yeah.
Physically, mentally, emotionally, it's still a different. I mean, you could have them both at the same time, like literally.
Yeah.
So they're obviously different beings.
That's
so
true. Well, when I first heard about it, I said absolutely not, because I would never be able to replace like Jangles. I wouldn't be able to like say like, oh, this is like, what would I name him? Jangles too? Like what? I don't
then you
know.
have the emotional bond.
Like mentally, that would throw me off.
I don't know if I could emotionally bond to a cloned version of Stanley the same way that I'm, or Reese for that matter, the same way that I'm bonded to them as they are. Because I'm bonded to them because of the experience that I've had with them.
And how they landed in your life, and when they landed in your
Exactly.
life, and you know what
What
they've
we've
done
been
to
through.
make it better.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, all of this that we're doing is because we've all had that experience where one of these creatures has just completely changed our lives for the better, or multiple of them, or whatever. And so, I don't know, to try and replicate that through science seems a little scary. For $1,600, I would try. Not for 15 or 50. 15 maybe. 50, no. Good Lord. Do not come to
We've
us.
found the limit.
Yeah, 50, I guess, is the no. I don't know. If I win the lottery, ask me again. We'll see.
Well,
So.
this has been very interesting. I'm going to be pondering this for days. I just know it.
I know.
But I think I'm still set where I'm at. Again, I think where we landed was, you know,
if you've got an extra $50,000, give it to Oh My Dog
donate
Rescue.
it to OMD. And if you have another 50, then go ahead and get your dog like cloned.
And then invite us over so we could like see this, because I am super interested. There is a book out there that I do own. It's called Dog Inc. or Dogs Inc. And it is about the process of cloning and then the moral dilemma as to whether or not this is cool. So if you really want to dive in further and you're a reader, Dog Inc. is all about the business of cloning animals. So.
And in the extreme off chance that we have a listener that has done this,
for the love of Pete,
please send me a letter.
We
at
need
PO
more
Box
information.
33.
Well, say the right thing. If you have cloned your dog, either email us, because we're in the year 2024, almost 2025, or
send me a postcard. No, actually, speaking of emails, we got an email from a fan this week.
in another
Last week.
state
Oh,
who doesn't
my
know
God.
us or anybody that knows us.
I know. I was like,
An organic listener.
oh,
Our
my
first
God.
fan mail.
She's from
that
North
isn't our
Carolina.
mom's.
Her name's Cassie or Casey. I think it's Casey because there's only one S.
Okay.
I
Casey.
think. So if you're listening, still, apologies, Casey, whatever it is. Anyway, she's from North Carolina. She fosters for a humane society out there, a shelter out in North Carolina. And it sounds like it's kind of hands off. Like it's kind of
and I've heard
here's
this,
a dog, keep it alive, bring it back when we've got an adopter.
Yes. And I've heard this from multiple other people in larger areas that have just a ton of volume that are fostering for a shelter. They will, and I don't know if this is her experience, but they will literally say, hey, come pick up this dog, send it on its way. And then there's no communication for what comes next.
Right.
So she, very rightfully so, was reaching out to us because we talk all the time about these resources that we have for people. And she's like, hey, could you like share some of what you give to your fosters just so I could understand better how to do this right, you know? To which our answer was, of course, we'll give you what we can, but a lot of our foster manual that we refer to all the time is very specific to our process.
Right.
It wouldn't necessarily
call
work.
this vet at this phone number. Like, that's not going to work for her, obviously. But yeah, she says, I've been listening to your podcast for a few months now. I'm a new-ish foster for Animal Control Center in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I've learned lots of tips through your podcast, but was wondering if I could have access to some of your resources, so on and so forth. The Animal Control Center does not have these types of resources. It's mostly just pick up the dog and then drop it back off when someone wants to adopt.
Which is exactly when I used to foster for an animal shelter in Des Moines. That's how it was. They would call me and say, hey, this dog needs a foster. And then they would call me when someone was at the shelter and wanted to meet him. And I would just have to bring it over.
Yeah.
I did that for about a year. It was not my favorite because I didn't get to pick where the dog went. So I didn't like that.
Yeah, they weren't as involved, which is something we really pride ourselves on, is how involved our fosters are.
I didn't last very long because I didn't get to be involved in the process, you know? Right. And so I just had to hand the dog off and hope that it was going to be okay.
Yeah, so we sent her over the 333 resource, what to do when you get an application, like questions to ask, responses that you can use if you're feeling it, if you're not feeling it, that kind of thing. So hopefully those are helpful for you, and hopefully you keep listening and just keep sharing our podcast with your friends. She said that she was not directly affected by Helene.
That's
good. That's good, but surrounding communities were. So I'm sure, I know that all of the shelter and rescue resources that were affected by Helene are scrambling, and they need all the help they can get. I don't even want to think about what's happened to some of these dogs that might have been stuck in a shelter with rising waters and things like that. You know, we experienced that with other hurricanes in Florida.
Yeah.
You know, at least just let them loose. If you can't do anything else, let them loose, because they're gonna find higher ground.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a horrible situation to be in, and I'm thankful that we are not having to deal with that right now. But
I really, you know, when we went through the derecho, it was
just a quick blip of like what that could be like for days on end.
And that was horrific enough.
Yeah.
But that's like a tenth of what these people are going through. I mean, there's whole towns just gone.
Yeah.
Like they're destroyed. They're gone. They're not there anymore.
Yeah, that's terrifying. But anyway, on a happier note,
we digress.
Our first fan mail from someone who isn't related to us.
I'm so excited. Yeah, all of these listens aren't just my mom and her friends, which I appreciate those listens too.
Thanks, Mom and friends. But it's pretty cool and I do think that our reach is spreading. I'm hearing more and more of people saying, you know, referencing our podcast. In fact, last little strange story, my friend from the dog park, he goes, I'm catching up on your podcast. I'm a couple months behind, I feel like, but I just heard the episode about ranch and the ranch. And he pulls up this commercial from like the 90s, I think, or 80s or something. It was a Wendy's commercial about this sandwich that had like a ranch flavoring on it. And it was like, you've heard of a sweet tooth. What about a ranch tooth? And it's got like some comedian in it, and it's a literal tooth sitting at the table just every once in a while going, ranch.
See, I think you must have seen this at some point. It got imprinted into your brain.
I'm pretty sure
And
Cam's...
that's where it came out.
I had never seen it before. I was like tickled pink. I was like, that is hilarious and exactly what we were called, like how we were saying ranch, but I have never seen that commercial, I swear. But I mean, that's what I thought too, but it was old. It was like before my time that it even like played.
True.
But hilarious. Ranch. Their tooth is a little tooth
Oh
shouting
my gosh.
ranch.
Sorry to double back, but Casey did ask in her return email, because I asked her if there was anything that she wanted us to cover, and she asked about basic dog training for people that are not trainers. And
Yeah.
so we will get to that.
Yes.
She's asking specifically, my last foster was reactive, not aggressive, but reactive to other dogs. And
Very common.
and I had no idea how to handle that besides separating them.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any resources for that kind of thing? So we will get...
Yes, I would like to
on that.
invite Clint Knox or
Yes.
one of our trainers. I think he would be more than happy to come on, though, and just talk through some of those commonly asked questions. But I want to make sure that we prepare a little better than we prepared to talk about cloning. That was a last-minute thing and why I didn't know the price of it. But but we'll prepare so that we've got
We had a
some
little
good...
glimmer of hope there for a few minutes.
Oh, man,
anyway.
I got really excited. I was like, I can afford to clone my dog. Call me Paris and slap me silly. Oh, anyway,
Oh, Lord.
well, Bojangles will live on in infamy, but not forever. So,
That's
anyhow,
for What a weird episode.
well, when you decide that your episode is just going to be focusing on Chihuahuas, you know things are going to get off the rails somehow.
Yeah, I think if you haven't ever experienced a Chihuahua, it's well worth it. I would give it a chance.
Oh my gosh.
And I have one that's adoptable. His name's Roy.
I guess I'm
Check
about to...
him out.
I think I'm going to get one too. I'm
Yeah.
getting one dropped off. We've got Chihuahuas coming out our ears right now. So if you're
Yes.
interested at all in experiencing the breed, it is a bond like no other. They're pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
But
Just
until
check 'em
then,
out. We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out. Bye.
Bye.
We'll figure it out.
figure it out.
Oh my dog.
What I mean when I see, what I see, what I feel, when I dream, when I be, I'm a freak, what up? Oh, what up? Everybody look at me when I'm free, when I feel, what I see, when I do it, I'm a freak, what up? Oh, what up? Say what we got, it's hot to spot, give up the drop, see what we got, do what? We got to go, the body flow, too hot to show, the front row, we won't stop.